Exclusive contracted novel by Fengtian Novel Network. 1949, on the eve of the Anti-Eagle War, I crafted a nuclear bomb. Academician Shen Fei traveled back to 1949. At this moment, when the rabbit had just established its country and was waiting for improvement, Shen Fei activated the black technology system and began to build military industry for the country. 1 year later, the Anti-Eagle War broke out, and Eagle sauce would directly land on the Korean peninsula. Rabbit volunteer army soldiers would cross the Yalu River and be forced to defend the country. In order to avoid the huge sacrifice of the volunteer army on the Korean battlefield in his previous life, Shen Fei relied on his system to desperately manufacture various weapons. When tanks, automatic rifles, 107 rocket launchers, J.8 fighter jets, and nuclear submarines appeared on the Korean peninsula, this equipment directly confused Eagle Sauce MacArthur. The rabbit is not penniless. How did the weapon come from imposing sanctions and blockading him? The Eagle Sauce alliance suffered a great defeat, and it was never expected that the rabbit was the real superpower. What made them most uncomfortable was that the rabbit tested a nuclear bomb and shocked the world. The bosses lamented that without Shen Fei, we would not have been able to easily win the war. It is truly a blessing from heaven to be directly awarded the rank of general. Fengtian Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001, after returning from studying abroad, join the Fengtian Arsenal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Parallel World. In early November 1949. When the rabbit first established its country, everything was in ruins waiting to be revived. Many parts of the country have not been liberated, and the war is still ongoing. Northeast China. This is the area where rabbits were first liberated. Fengtian Arsenal. This day. A group of youthful international students gathered at the entrance of the factory, their eyes shining with hope. Some of them come from European and American countries, while others come from furry bears, all of whom are young people who return from their studies to serve their country and dedicate their youth. This arsenal is not simple. Its predecessor was the Fengtian Ordnance Factory established by the Fengtian warlord Zhang Dushui during the Beiyang period, using advanced technology from Europe. Later on, it continued to expand on this scale, gradually forming a huge scale with very strong production capacity. Even railways have been specially built for military factories, with stations set up. Trains can travel directly from the factory to various parts of the country to replenish weapons and ammunition for frontline troops. The arsenal has numerous branches such as gun factories, shell factories, and artillery factories, with tens of thousands of personnel alone. During the War of Resistance against Japan, the Little Devils transformed this place into their own weapon logistics supply base, expanding its scale once again. In 1948, the arsenal returned to the hands of the rabbits, and production capacity was restored. The weapons and equipment produced were supplied to the national battlefield for war. As the largest and most important arsenal for rabbits at present, it is naturally highly valued. This group of returning international students, as well as talents related to the military industry, have been prioritized for deployment to supplement the strength of various industries. Some of them have been arranged here, totaling 18 people. 14 boys and 4 girls. Among these 14 boys, there is a young man named Shen Fei. People only know that his file states that Mao Xiong is an international student, but no one knows his other identity. Crosser. That's right, he traveled here from New Year's Day in 2024. When rabbits first grow up, various industries need to be rebuilt, and the country needs a large number of talents. So, the rabbit called on outstanding children from both domestic and foreign countries to return to China to support construction, and to rebuild a strong country that praises the new. Many study abroad bears, as well as high-quality raw powder from Europe and America, have embarked on the journey of returning home. They have a childlike heart and contribute their own strength upon returning. Everyone picked up firewood and the flames were high. They are all aware that personal strength is insignificant, but when gathered together, it can generate immense power, daring to call the sun and moon a new sky. Shen Fei and his group are among the first batch of returning international students. In this hot era, he felt that his name also matched the times very well, Flying My Rabbit. He was in his 20s, wearing a thick military coat, with sword eyebrows and starry eyes, handsome appearance, and a height of 1.8 meters, all of which made him quite satisfied. In his past life, he was a big shot at a military research institute, writing extensively. In a supersonic missile test, it is unknown which link went wrong and exploded, so he traveled back to this era. Become an international student with experience studying abroad. At the same time, a system called Black Technology was also activated. According to the system introduction, the Black Technology system has the ability to unlock numerous black technologies, which can assist Shen Fei in developing advanced weapons and equipment, network technology, space, and even civilian technology. That is to say, as long as he is willing, he can even create numerous military technology. This is very in line with his current status as an international student, so he is still very satisfied. And he also discovered that black technology systems unlock different weapons and equipment with the development of the times. However, upon reflection, the development of weapons also requires the support of the national industry. During the boring waiting time, Shen Fei woke up the system and opened the beginner's gift package. Ding dong. Congratulations on successfully opening the host novice gift package. Congratulations to the host for obtaining extraordinary computing ability, extraordinary drawing ability, and extraordinary deduction ability. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the complete set of manufacturing drawings and related data for the 107 rocket launcher. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability to improve and upgrade the bullet production line. Hush. Having gained so many abilities all at once, Shen Fei couldn't help but take a cold breath. This system is exploding. It's difficult for him to take off. Is it necessary to make up for all the regrets in a lifetime of rebirth? With various abilities unlocked, he felt like he had a lot of things inside his head, as if he had opened up the Ren and Du meridians. Refreshing and refreshing. At this moment, the crowd suddenly became agitated, and Shen Fei regained his senses and looked over. It turned out that the director of the Fengtian Arsenal had arrived. He was a burly man with a Chinese character face in his 50s, with a rough voice and a strong northeastern accent. Comrades, welcome to my Fengtian Arsenal. I am Shang Shuming, the factory director. I won't say much nonsense, just 3 sentences. First sentence, we warmly welcome your arrival. You are all valuable talents, and we will definitely not mistreat you. The second sentence, from now on, the Fengtian Arsenal will be your home, and you can come to me if you encounter any problems. In the third sentence, I hope you have a happy work and life here, make more contributions to national defense construction, and contribute more advanced equipment to the military. My speech is over. The speech was very crisp and decisive, and immediately won applause from the international students. Subsequently, Shen Fei, along with the international students, was taken to the prepared living area. In order to welcome this group of talented students returning from studying abroad, the Fengtian Arsenal has made sufficient preparations and specially vacated the best dormitory buildings, each with heating. 4 people living in one room. This is rare in military factories, indicating the high level of attention from the leadership. After settling down, Shang Shuming personally led everyone to visit the factory area and introduced each place to everyone. The arsenal did not keep any secrets from them. By doing so, we naturally want these talented students to adapt to the life in the arms factory as soon as possible and be able to better engage in work. Visiting the entire arsenal, Shen Fei also gained a general understanding of it. He has his own independent power plant, gunpowder factory, gun factory, and so on, which can be said to have everything and basically meet all his needs. The first day of coming came to an end like this, and the factory did not arrange work, nor did they let everyone on duty. Returning to the dormitory, Shen Fei sat at his desk lost in thought. Shen Fei, dinner is coming soon, why don't you go eat? What are you thinking? At this moment, a crisp sound reached Shen Fei's ears, pulling him back into reality. Turning her head, she saw a beautiful girl with a ponytail braid walking into the dormitory at some point, her beautiful big eyes flickering as she stared at him. It's you, Hao Shuwen. I am thinking of war, which is still ongoing domestically. Shen Fei spoke directly, saying that he was actually worried about another upcoming war, the Anti-Eagle War. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 002, preparation before resisting the Eagle, launched the 107 rocket launcher. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although the rabbit country was established, the domestic war has not yet been completed. The war between the South and the Changshenkai group is still ongoing. Based on the current trend and historical trends, there is no suspense about solving the remaining enemies. However, he was not worried about this, but rather about the war less than a year ago in the eastern part of northeast China, in the Goguryeo region. According to historical evolution, this anti-Eagle war will break out in November 1950, which is not subject to human will. As a person who had traveled through time, Shen Fei knew very well that after landing in Incheon, Yingjiang carried a strong army and advanced northward, causing the northern stick to quickly shrink its front line. The flames of war even directly burned to the north of the Rabbit by the river, posing a serious threat to the security of the northern border. To protect our country and family. Also, in order to make one punch open and avoid 100 punches. The Rabbit formed a volunteer army and went to Goguryeo to participate in the war. Due to a huge difference in weapons, although the Rabbit claimed to have won the war, the cost paid was also extremely heavy. The strong willpower of the soldiers and their enormous efforts are impressive, but Shen Fei does not want such a tragedy to happen again. Nature could never let the Rabbit soldier suffer from Eagle Sauce's chubby beating again, so his head began to ponder. As a military worker, it is natural to start with military weapons. Shen Fei felt a sense of urgency, there was really not much time left for him. Full play and full calculation, less than a year. To be honest, Shen Fei felt an invisible pressure spreading over him. He had to turn the pressure into motivation, forcefully turn it into motivation, and quickly immerse himself in his work. The domestic war is almost over, and it's only a matter of time before we sweep away the remaining soldiers left by Chiang Kai. I believe our troops won't have any problems. Moreover, the newspaper also mentioned that Chiang Kai fled to Dragon Claw Island and took away a large amount of gold, making him a lost and helpless person. You don't have to worry anymore. Hao Shuwen's beautiful big eyes stared closely at Shen Fei, feeling relieved. It is obvious that Hao Shuwen was not aware of the upcoming Peninsula War, which is a war that threatens the safety of rabbits in the north. He also knows that getting rid of the bald head is just a matter of time. The next war will be led by Eagle Sauce and the United Nations Army personally. They will have a showdown with the rabbits on the peninsula battlefield, and it will be forced on the rabbits. We have to fight. Watching the beautiful girl comfort him, Shen Fei smiled at her without explaining his concerns. Get up and go eat with Hao Shuwen. In the next 3 or 4 days, the factory still did not arrange work, but instead had a dedicated person lead Shen Fei and other international students to familiarize themselves with the relevant workflow and work arrangements of the entire Fengtian Arsenal. The factory still attaches great importance to this group of international students, knowing that they are all leaders in related majors. Naturally, they have been arranged to the Weapons and Equipment Research Department of the military factory to enrich the strength of this department. This is naturally to maximize the talents of outstanding international students. After a visit, Shen Fei felt even more urgent. The days of the anti-Eagle War are getting closer and closer, but the arsenal does not have more advanced artillery to handle. Not having enough firepower to sustain is a huge threat to soldiers, and the resulting casualties are certainly very heavy. After some consideration, he decided to go find the factory director Shang Xiuming. On the 10th day of coming to the factory, Shen Fei has gained sufficient understanding of the Fengtian Arsenal, and with its strength, it is entirely possible to solve production technology problems. This day, Shen Fei resolutely walked into the factory director's office and found Shang Xiuming. Director, after visiting during this period, I found that we can further improve in the field of artillery. The artillery produced now has too little firepower to destroy larger targets. Upon hearing this, Shang Xiuming looked at Shen Fei in surprise. He still had a very deep impression of this international student. Not only is he very talented, but he also minored in materials science, chemistry, aerodynamics, rocket dynamics, mechanical engineering and other disciplines, making him a versatile talent. Very rare. Mao Xiong was given high treatment, but he still chose to return to his home country to work. Comrade Shen Fei, our artillery is already considered very advanced, and we are definitely the best in China. I also do the best in terms of related supporting facilities. The front line is still at war, and I also want to produce artillery with greater destructive power, but we haven't made a breakthrough in this area yet. Artillery is known as the god of war. With powerful artillery, it can greatly reduce casualties, but there is currently no relevant plan to improve the production of artillery. It's not enough to make cannons double-barreled like warships, is it? In that case, artillery may become a burden for marching and fighting, and it won't have much effect at all. Factory director, I want to tell you that I think our arsenal can produce more advanced artillery. We can make greater contributions. Shen Fei took a deep breath and spoke directly, knowing that the factory director had misunderstood. The Fengtian Arsenal already had a related artillery factory, which had produced and manufactured very advanced artillery and made outstanding contributions to the Liberation War. Those cannons are still fighting alongside the army and have played their rightful role. In addition to artillery, a large number of mortars of different calibers were also produced. The only drawback is short range and insufficient lethality. Later, they encountered the plunder of the Little Devils and the Bear, which resulted in the artillery factory being unable to manufacture heavy cannons. It was really a pity. But this won't defeat Shen Fei. The 107 rocket launcher obtained in the beginner's gift package does not require any heavy artillery technology, and the artillery factory can produce it with slight modifications. As for shells, slight modifications to the artillery ammunition can be achieved. The 107 rocket launcher, which can be deployed anywhere and fired upon ignition, is known as one of the three major guerrilla weapons. You said you have the technology to manufacture more advanced artillery. Shang Xiuming gradually understood the meaning behind Shen Fei's words, and his emotions immediately became excited. He stared at Shen Fei with both eyes fixed on him, asking questions. How many days have you only been here? They have developed more advanced artillery technology. It's truly a huge surprise. This is talent. Shen Fei nodded lightly and took out a 107 rocket launcher blueprint from his handbag, placing it on his desk. Factory director, take a look at this blueprint. This is the artillery I designed, which I call a multi-barrel rocket launcher. The first page is a hand-drawn drawing of the 107 rocket launcher, which has 12 barrels in all four directions. It is 2.6 meters long and 1.4 meters wide, with a height of only 1.1 meters. When placed on the ground, it is only the size of a small cart. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. The launch of the 003 and 107 rocket launchers has alarmed factory managers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 12 launch tubes, which can also be attached to a small car, are really quite compact. Next are the second and third technical drawings. All of the above are materials related to the design and manufacturing of the 107 rocket launcher, and even the materials used for the rocket launcher's barrel are clearly stated. That is to say, with this blueprint, the Fengtian Arsenal can manufacture the gun body. As for ammunition, there are also corresponding production technology requirements. Shang Xiuming became more and more excited as he looked, his eyes filled with astonishment, which was unbelievable. Shen Fei ruled, "Is this the rocket launcher you designed? It looks like a Katyusha rocket launcher, but it has a huge difference. It's really agile, look at it." The Katyusha rocket launcher is a vehicle-mounted rocket launcher developed during the Soviet Union era. It has a long range and high power, but the only drawback is its insufficient accuracy. However, it inflicts enormous damage on the enemy, resulting in a huge firepower coverage. Completely surpassing ordinary artillery, the fear it brings to the enemy is enormous. The only drawback is that this rocket launcher cannot be deployed in mountainous areas and requires extensive logistical support, making it clearly unsuitable for large-scale deployment. But this one is different, it can be deployed to battalion-level units. Is it okay to have a battalion-level artillery company? Shang Xiuming was not sure how powerful the 107 rocket launcher was, and it was simply a weapon of guerrilla warfare that perfectly matched the current tactics of the army. The pressure on logistical support was also not significant. Even for the upcoming Peninsula War, the Rabbit Army can still be pulled up to fight. Factory Director, despite its small size, this rocket launcher is very powerful. I believe its practical application is definitely not inferior to that of Katyusha. Shen Fei confidently said, pointing to the shell, "This shell can be fired even if it doesn't have a barrel. If it's placed on the ground and ignited, it can be fired even if struck with a hammer. Its deployment is quite flexible." Shang Xiuming was extremely excited upon hearing this and wished to immediately manufacture it and then pull it to the weapon testing ground for testing. "If you pass the test, let the troops come and take you to the battlefield." Shang Xiuming felt a hint of worry in his heart, that even when things are good, they need to have the ability to produce. "The only concern for me is whether our factory's current level can meet the production needs of your rocket launcher." Shen Fei did not have a different opinion. "Factory Director, I have seen that with our factory's technology and conditions, it can completely meet the requirements. Give me a week, I can get this rocket launcher out." During the factory inspection phase, he had a grasp of the relevant equipment and technical conditions in the factory, and naturally understood that this rocket launcher could be fully developed. Even if some conditions are not met, he can still lead technical personnel in public relations. This doesn't take too long at all. What he wants is to start production as soon as possible and equip the Rabbit Army for use as soon as possible. Conduct practical verification on the battlefield while the domestic war is still ongoing to test its reliability and performance. It's good if you have this confidence. Comrade Shen Fei, as the factory director, I will serve as a good logistics soldier for you. I will satisfy you with all the equipment and personnel you need. As long as you can make this 107 rocket launcher, it will be a great achievement for us, Fengtian Arsenal, and it will be a good thing. Even though Shen Fei has not made any contributions before, relying solely on the complete set of technical drawings for the 107 rocket launcher is enough to make the factory manager Shang Xiuming trust the newcomer in front of him. As long as it is put into production, it will definitely receive strong support from the military. The Fengtian Arsenal may be able to leap to a new position. Thank you very much for the factory director's support. I will definitely live up to my mission. Shen Fei patted his chest and promised that he also needed to prove his strength with this rocket launcher now. More than half an hour later, he finally walked out of the factory director Shang Xiuming's office. When I was leaving the office building, I happened to run into Hao Shuwen, who had come back from working outside. Ah! The two of them happened to collide, but fortunately it wasn't too serious and they separated at a touch. Hao Shuwen, it's you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Seeing the person coming, Shen Fei felt a bit embarrassed and quickly apologized. It's okay, it's okay. How did you come out of the office building? Hao Shuwen's face blushed with embarrassment, but she quickly realized and waved her hand. By the way, I have something to do with you. What's going on? Hao Shuwen's face showed an puzzled expression. Build cannons with me, 107 rocket launcher. Are you interested? Shen Fei is frank and straightforward, as it does not involve any confidentiality regulations. He also knows Hao Shuwen. This girl is really amazing. She has very deep expertise in mechanical and aerodynamic aspects. Pulling her along can definitely save a lot of time. Hao Shuwen was momentarily taken aback, and the next moment she was filled with interest. The next day, in the office, Shen Fei and Hao Shuwen started working together. All those drawings were unconditionally shared with the other party, and the two of them carefully studied each artillery detail together. The turret of the 107 rocket launcher and its welding together are very easy to solve. The main focus is on the top firing device behind the launch tube, as well as the manufacturing of the projectile itself, which requires a certain amount of time and effort. As for tugboats and gun racks, ready-made howitzers can be used, and the gun body can be dismantled. In the gun factory workshop under the Fengtian Arsenal. With the strong support of factory director Shang Xiuming, Shen Fei obtained a separate studio and gathered a group of top-notch technical personnel, including Hao Shuwen, to jointly build the 107 rocket launcher. Shen Fei directly unpacked the 107 rocket launcher into loose parts, consisting of more than 10 parts, including 3 rows, 4 rows, and 12 launch tubes, a forked slide sight, high and low wheels, directional wheels, and front and rear rods. Pai li pa, dong dong. Inside the factory building, various machines are running wildly. Hao Shuwen, as the deputy chief engineer, personally took the field and commanded the technical workers to start casting the gun barrel according to the pre-made steel pipe. The scene was scorching hot, and the workers were full of enthusiasm. Due to each launch tube being independent, they are all manufactured separately, one after another. Once all 12 are ready, gather them together and weld them into a square box. The directional tube has a diameter of 107 mm and a length of 900 mm. A large number of components are produced every day, and skilled assembly workers weld and assemble the rocket barrel according to the manufacturing drawings provided by Shen Fei. Shen Fei's design is also quite simple and easy to get started with, even newcomers who have been trained for 1 or 2 months can quickly get started with assembly. The traction rod has been designed to be used as a support rod during wartime, and can be directly hung on a carriage or car for running when pulled. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 004 and 107 rocket launchers fired with tremendous power, all. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passed silently. 2 days later, with the strong efforts of the factory, Shen Fei and Hao Shuwen created the barrel frame of the 107 rocket launcher, but it had not yet been painted. The painting process is done by a dedicated technician, so there is no need for them to worry. Next, we entered the main attacking stage, designing and manufacturing the shells of the 107 rocket launcher. The shells of the 107 rocket launcher are fundamentally different from those used in artillery. It is equipped with a rocket propulsion system and has complete autonomous flight capability. This involves content related to rocket power. Very professional. Thanks to Shen Fei having a complete set of 107 rocket design drawings and the ability to match them, otherwise it would be really rare to develop them. Solid propellant engines must be developed using this method for shells. The most troublesome thing is still the manufacturing of booster rocket engines. After all, at this stage, the entire rabbit does not have miniaturized solid rocket engine technology. Shen Fei simply manufactured the rocket engine 1.2.1 according to the drawings, and for this purpose, he specifically asked the factory director Shang Xuming to coordinate with experts in rocket power in northeast China and even the whole country, which was how he successfully created the rocket engine. Eat, live, and work with the workers in the factory when they wake up. A week later, he finally finished making the rocket engine inside the shell. Finally done. The crucial step was successful. I am really a genius. After exhaling heavily, Shen Fei jokingly said. Pushi. Upon hearing this, Hao Shuan beside her suddenly laughed and her flowers trembled for a moment. Shen Fei, he is indeed a military genius. I've been working hard lately. After suppressing her smile, Hao Shuan looked at Shen Fei with a look of admiration on her face. It had only been half a month before she successfully made it, and she took out her handkerchief very thoughtfully, gently wiping the sweat on both sides of his cheeks. A very intimate appearance. She is probably the only one in the entire factory who knows how hard Shen Fei has been going during this period. I'm looking forward to the day of rocket launcher testing. It's coming soon. Faced with Hao Shuan's expectations, Shen Fei's response was also very straightforward. The technical difficulties of shells have been overcome, and the next step is the overall design of shells. The 107 rocket launcher is tube-fired and does not have a fixed-wing design. In this way, the subsequent stability and attitude control of the projectile all need to be controlled by the rear engine. For this purpose, he designed 6 rocket engine nozzles, with a booster rocket in the middle, which can maintain flight speed and ensure the rocket's spin. In order to enhance the adaptability of the projectile to the battlefield, Shen Fei specially designed an electric shock device. Just peel off the base, use a dry battery, or shake the generator by hand to achieve ignition. After the design is completed, it will be handed over to the engineering department for manufacturing. The entire process has a green channel, with the highest level of guarantee. It didn't take long for the shells to be interviewed, and the testing was completely qualified. The next step is the design and manufacturing of accessories such as sights, gun racks, and front and rear rods. These are not difficult at all, as they have been used in factories before and can be used directly. A week passed quietly, and after a group of technical personnel such as Shen Fei and Hao Shuan worked overtime day and night, a successfully developed 107 rocket launcher was officially launched. Fengtian Arsenal Artillery Test Field. A military green 107 rocket launcher was quietly placed there, with its orientation fully adjusted. Next to it were 120 shells, neatly arranged and magnificent. Today's test has a lot of content, including multiple simultaneous shots and one solo shot, testing the performance of rocket artillery while also testing the power of the shells. In addition to the factory director Shang Xuming, many middle and senior leaders from the factory, as well as numerous chief engineers and other experts, and even many international students came to the scene. Everyone was full of anticipation, their eyes all focused on this new type of rocket launcher. This is a rocket launcher independently developed and fully manufactured by the Fengtian Arsenal, which is the first time that heaven and earth have been created. If successful, then the significance is great. If the power is exerted, it will definitely change the course of the war. Shang Xuming's hand gently caressed the barrel of the 107 rocket launcher, as if caressing his own child, with a loving light in his eyes. Shen Fei, you are really amazing. You managed to bite off the 107 rocket launcher in such a short amount of time. Today is a test of its power, dare you accept the challenge? For the arrival of this day, he had been waiting for a long time and had been keeping an eye on the progress of the project. Just give it a try and you'll know. Director, I also look forward to its good performance. Shen Fei smiled casually, and after checking the final data, he had confidence in his heart. Let's take a look at its performance. Factory Director Shang Xuming nodded solemnly, his gaze toward Shen Fei filled with appreciation. This young man, the more he looks, the more he likes him. Not arrogant or impatient, he is a person who does great things. After the order was issued, the weapon experimenter began to load the shells one by one. In order to ensure the safety of technical personnel, the factory will have dedicated weapon testers to do this full-time job. They have all received professional training. Quickly, all 12 rounds were loaded, and the 12 barrels of the 107 rocket launcher were filled to the brim. The first round is a volley. Adjust the shooting angle and directly engage in close-range firepower coverage shooting. Previously, this field was used for artillery shooting, with a length of only 6 or 7 kilometers, so it was not possible to conduct a maximum test firing of 8,500 meters. First test launch, target area with a range of 3 kilometers. Fire. The experimenter has evacuated to the safe zone, and Shen Fei decisively issued the order to fire. Yes. The experimenter decisively pressed the launch button. The body of the 107 rocket launcher suddenly shook. Whoosh! The first shell ignited and quickly detached from the barrel. Immediately following the second, third in just a few seconds, all 12 shells had already flown away from the rocket's barrel and fired into the air. The rocket engine sprayed hot flames, rushing towards the target area. Whoosh whoosh! The speed is extremely fast, instantly out of people's sight. The initial speed can reach 31.4 meters per second, and with the strong assistance of the rocket engine, the maximum flight speed can reach 372 meters per second. At this speed, even if the enemy predicts a shell attack, they can't hide. A beautiful arc swept through the air, and 12 shells landed incredibly accurately in the target area marked with a huge circle. Bomb! Boom boom boom! In an instant, a loud explosion echoed through the entire weapon testing ground. The flames burst into the sky, and smoke filled the air. The highly destructive shock wave swept towards all sides, blowing down all humanoid targets deployed on the periphery. The entire target area is constantly exploding, and all preset targets are destroyed. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 005, Guerrilla artifact, sent to the frontline battlefield. You are listening at novel full.audio. This is just the power of killing and exploding grenades. If phosphorus aluminum incendiary rounds, armor-piercing rounds, or foil electronic interference rounds are used in the future, wouldn't it be more powerful and have a wider range of effects? A reliable multi-purpose rocket launcher. Shang Shuming, Hao Shuwen, and all the others present were stunned. Everyone's eyes widened even larger than cow eggs, staring at the target area shrouded in gunpowder. This is really powerful. A gun is the power of an artillery battalion. 12 rocket launchers fired in unison, which person can withstand it? The target area is completely covered by firepower, which is a carpet like saturation bombing, equivalent to directly plowing the target land. Too irritable. Who can withstand it? Although the amount of ammunition fired by this rocket launcher is 1/4 less than that of Katyusha, its displayed power is not weak, but also very flexible. Moreover, Katyusha is produced by fur bears, and even if the other party allows imports, it may still be constrained by various conditions such as quantity. However, this 107 rocket launcher is a product of the Fengtian Arsenal itself. All core technologies are in one's own hands. This is more fragrant than anything. This is my own son. They are truly proud to see their son so promising and shining. Finger dog turns into dragon, amazing to heaven and earth. It's so shocking. The power is even more powerful. The firepower coverage is really fierce. After a long time, Shang Shuming finally came to his senses and strode towards Shen Fei. Comrade Shen Fei, the gun you led the construction of is truly shocking to me. One gun is equivalent to the power of an artillery battalion, and its firepower is fully covered. It's amazing. It's an eye-opening experience. Amazing, amazing. Shang Xiuming hugged Shen Fei into his arms and excitedly patted his back, saying with great excitement. It turns out that the power released by a gun is equivalent to the power of an artillery battalion, and the key is that there are very few operators of this gun. If equipped with an artillery battalion, with a round of simultaneous firing, even if there are many enemies, they will still be on the brink of death. Comrade Shen Fei, what is the name of this cannon and how is its performance? With it, we can make up for our shortcomings in firepower. The deputy factory director was also very excited, staring at Shen Fei with fiery eyes and asking questions. I have been working with Shen Fei on this cannon for the longest time, and now that I see its true power, I am truly happy. Factory director, even I didn't expect this cannon to be so powerful. This is definitely Comrade Shen Fei's first invention, it's simply a genius-like invention. Although she was involved in the development and manufacturing process of the 107 rocket launcher throughout, she was also the first to see the strength of this artillery. Shen Fei smiled at Hao Shuan and immediately reported to the two factory directors, Factory Director, I call this cannon the 107 rocket launcher. It has a maximum range of 8,500 meters and can fire 12 rounds in unison with a half-second interval. It can also fire single shots. In the future, anti-tank armor-piercing shells and other shells will also be equipped. Shang Xiuming nodded repeatedly upon hearing this, feeling extremely satisfied. Comrade Shen Fei, you are truly a military genius. Our treasure from the Fengtian Arsenal. Shang Xiumingsi generously praised and was extremely pleased that the Fengtian Arsenal could have talents like Shen Fei. We have fully witnessed Comrade Shen Fei's talent. What a great talent. The deputy factory director gave a thumbs up. Absurdly praised, absurdly praised. Shen Fei humbly waved his hand and immediately gestured to several experimenters. Leader, I invite you to take a look at the magic next. Let's get started. Upon hearing Shen Fei's words, Shang Xiuming and other leaders in the factory immediately became interested and all of them stared at the experimenters. I saw them surrounding the 107 rocket launcher and taking action. Click, click. Accompanied by the sound of metal collisions, in just a few minutes, the intact rocket barrel was dismantled into a pile of components. This. Shang Xiuming and the deputy factory director and other leaders looked bewildered, and this was just magic. Are you crazily demolishing your home? Comrade Shen Fei, why did you dismantle the rocket launcher so well? This is not magic. Shang Xiuming's words received unanimous agreement from the leaders. Leader, don't you think it's more convenient to carry it this way? Are we marching and fighting in the hope of having such portable weapons? We can assemble them when we reach our positions and restore their tactical performance. This rocket launcher is fully detachable, with the heaviest component weighing no more than 30 kilograms, allowing even ordinary people to carry it and run. Besides, when you look at the tow bar, it can be used to pull the rocket launcher and can also be deployed as a support rod. It can be used not only on the battlefield, but also in mountainous areas. Leader, don't you think this is just magic? Upon hearing Shen Fei's explanation, Shang Xiuming and the other leaders immediately had their eyes lit up. They have all been to the front lines before. How important is a powerful weapon to the military? It can be disassembled and assembled when needed, without taking into account terrain or climate. This is simply a great weapon tailored for the military. I didn't expect Shen Fei to consider the military so much. Such talent is simply a treasure. This kind of magic is amazing. Shang Xiuming gave a thumbs up and praised. Leader, apart from the fact that the barrel can be dismantled, this shell is equally durable. It can be launched if installed in a launch tube, and it can also be launched if not installed. You only need 2 wires and connect them to a hand-cranked generator, or 3 or 5 dry batteries, which can also be used for ignition and emission. If not, lift off the bottom cover and light the fire to launch. In short, it is a weapon that can fight in any terrain, 24/7. Shen Fei smiled casually and then introduced himself, gesturing for the experimenter to start operating the shell and demonstrating it to everyone. After watching the various firing methods of the shells, everyone at the scene was once again shocked collectively. Good guy. This launch method is very unique. It can be launched with any ignition, don't be too rough. This is totally out of line. His mother, it's out of line. After a while, the factory director Shang Xiuming regained his senses and looked at Shen Fei with a fiery gaze. Shen Fei, the design of this rocket launcher is too exquisite. Whether it's the rocket barrel or this shell, they are extremely unique and bold, yet they are always considering convenience for military use. It's just a guerrilla warfare artifact. Shang Xiuming's heartfelt comments naturally gained unanimous approval from everyone present. Comrade Shen Fei, you have made a remarkable achievement in designing this rocket launcher. What a military industry genius. The deputy factory director praised from the bottom of his heart that such a person is simply a treasure of the military. P.S. The update has been updated. Fresh flowers are worth more than 100 yuan, reviews are worth more than 30 yuan, and we are looking for flowers to collect. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 006, mass. Produced 107 rocket artillery, divided into 2 fields. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Hao Shuwen and a group of international students changed their gaze towards Shen Fei, filled with admiration. Shen Fei is really a great deity. This powerful 107 rocket launcher has been developed, it's amazing. The leader praised me too much. In fact, this rocket launcher still has some flaws, such as the shell leaving the barrel, using a dry battery, or ignition with a torch, which affects its accuracy. So my suggestion is to use the gun body for directional stability and control. Of course, in the later stage, I will develop a separate launch tube that can be carried by individual soldiers' shoulders to solve this problem. Shen Fei is still very humble. He doesn't want to be too high. Profile, which is not conducive to himself working hard and developing as many new weapons as possible before the arrival of the anti-Eagle War. Since this war cannot be avoided, he can always do more. This is already remarkable, sacrificing a little bit of launch tube accuracy is still acceptable. Think about it, in a positional battle between the two armies, if one side has such a shell, then there is an extra chance of winning. Shang Xiuming smiled lightly, not feeling that it was a flaw, but rather a huge advantage. He could even imagine that once the rabbit army used it, they would directly set it on the battlefield and fire a volley. That scene will definitely be very spectacular. Shen Fei, let's introduce this 107 rocket launcher. We're interested in it now. This is our factory's first independently developed rocket launcher. The smile on the deputy factory director's face never stopped, and he gently patted Shen Fei's shoulder. Okay. Shen Fei is not stingy either, let's talk confidently next. The various performances, advantages, firepower density, error accuracy, and launch speed of the 107 rocket launcher have been well balanced. The overall structure of a rocket launcher is very simple and easy to disassemble. The key is that the total weight of the battle is only 613 kilograms, which means it can be transported with simple power. The convenient transportation method and flexible deployment style reveal their ingenuity everywhere, which effectively compensates for the lack of firepower during marching and fighting. It can also be assigned to infantry companies, greatly enhancing combat effectiveness, suppressing enemy firepower, and destroying enemy fighting willpower, which is very advantageous. At the operational level, the 107 rocket launcher only needs to undergo simple personnel training to operate on duty, which is very easy to get started with and does not require too much training time. Even such an excellent rocket launcher still needs to withstand various tests in the future. No accidents, all passed. On this day, Shang Shuming eagerly entered the military headquarters building with the relevant drawings and test data of the 107 rocket launcher. The Fengtian Arsenal is unable to make a decision independently regarding the addition of a 107 rocket launcher production line. After all, the establishment of production lines also requires the joint efforts of other military departments. Previously, when manufacturing sample guns, we could go through the green channel and produce them, but mass production is a completely different approach. Leader, this is our factory's newly independently developed 107 rocket launcher. It was created by an international student named Shen Fei. All projects have undergone rigorous testing. Its power is very impressive and can also be dismantled. We need a production line now. Shang Shuming submitted all the materials and truthfully reported them. Is this really developed by your factory? Do we have all independent intellectual property rights? After reading the relevant materials, the Minister of Logistics also became extremely excited. If he developed the entire set himself, it would be equivalent to producing as much as needed. Okay, I'll come with you now. Seeing Shang Shuming nod, the Minister of Logistics eagerly brought relevant technical experts and took the other party on a special plane to fly directly to Fengtian. Anyway, he needs to witness the true power of this 107 rocket launcher with his own eyes. After watching the complete demonstration of the 107 rocket launcher, the Minister of Logistics and other technical experts were no less shocked than Shang Shuming's first appearance. Stable. Seeing this scene, Shang Shuming was very clear that this wave of mass production had stabilized. As expected, the logistics minister came directly to the testing site for office work. Comrade Shang Shuming, this 107 rocket launcher has passed various tests and is excellent. Let's proceed with mass production at the fastest speed possible. Add a new production line. Upon hearing this, Shang Shuming's face immediately showed an excited smile. As long as it is mass-produced, this rocket launcher will undoubtedly gain further experience in domestic wars, making it more mature. Yes. With the clear support of the Ministry of Military Industry, the production line of the 107 rocket launcher was quickly established. The supply of various supporting components has been supported. As a Guerrilla artifact, the 107 rocket launcher has a very simple structure and does not require high production technology, which is very suitable for the current national conditions and military needs of rabbits. If a rocket launcher with a very complex manufacturing process is developed, it may not be able to overcome the conditions for mass production. This is great, portable, simple, rough, and durable. Shen Fei did not stop either. He led the studio to train technical workers, debug the production line, and lay the foundation for the official production of the 107 rocket launcher. Through the coordination of the military headquarters, the entire 3 eastern provinces have been mobilized, and almost half of the relevant industrial units scattered here have participated. On December 3, 1949, Shen Fei's memory was extremely profound. On this day, the first production line of the 107 rocket launcher was officially built and put into operation. Shen Fei arrived at the workshop and stood on the high platform corridor, watching the roaring machines below, his heart racing for a moment. Boom, boom. The roar of various machines intertwined together, as if playing a production march, which was very inspiring. Parts come continuously from the production line, and technicians immediately assemble them. The next day, the first mass-produced 107 rocket launcher has officially been taken off the production line. The factory director Shang Shuming, Shen Fei, and a group of people from the military department personally participated in the installation ceremony. The gun body was tied with red silk fabric, and there was a big red flower on it, just like a new soldier enlisting. Everyone's face was filled with brilliant smiles. The mass-produced version has finally joined the army. Shen Fei looked forward to this moment for a long time. Because this means that the 107 rocket launcher officially entered the military today and participated in the fierce war, making its due contribution to ending the domestic war as soon as possible. This is also the first weapon and equipment he has led the production of since his travels, which really has a unique significance. At this moment, his excitement is no less than that of anyone present. Although a weapon may not determine the ultimate direction of war, it can greatly affect the progress of the war and greatly reduce casualties on one's own side. P.S. The update has arrived, flowers are worth over 100 and reviews are worth over 30. Is anyone watching it? Supported by Point Data. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 007, Mr. Liu from the second field was shocked, this thing is more than just. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The weapons and equipment produced by Shen Fei naturally hope to be put into the battlefield. Developing any weapon or equipment is for the sake of war. After joining the army with the 107 rocket launcher, he is confident that he will greatly support the domestic liberation war and further advance the process of the war. Especially now that the war has advanced to the southwestern provinces, where there are many mountainous areas, this rocket launcher is precisely when deployed to provide strong military support to the troops. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for completing the mass production mission of the 107 rocket launcher. Reward Type 63 Automatic Rifle Blueprint. Reward the complete production technology of the Type 56 submachine gun. Suddenly, a mechanical prompt sound from the system rang out in Shen Fei's mind. This is a heavenly surprise. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Whether it was the Type 63 automatic rifle or the Type 56 submachine gun, they were all first-class guns. If they were to be mass-produced, they would directly take the standard light weapons of the army to the next level. Is there anything happier than this? View. Shen Fei couldn't wait to take a look at these two guns. At present, the most equipped equipment in the military is still Xiaomi and rifles, which cannot efficiently eliminate the enemy and bring casualties to the soldiers. Soon he saw the relevant drawings and manufacturing processes of the Type 63 automatic rifle. This gun is indeed a good one, Shen Fei remembers very well. At the beginning of its installation in the military, the response was very good. However, due to various reasons, the military representatives did not strictly control it, resulting in many unqualified products flowing into the military. This directly caused a sharp decline in the reputation of this product, and ultimately the military had to retire early. In this life, since there is a reward, he cannot let tragedy repeat itself. In terms of manufacturing technology and quality control, Shen Fei has made up his mind to strictly adhere to relevant standards, and there must be no more problems caused by random modifications by factory engineers. A gun is the second life of a warrior, and he cannot allow tragedy to repeat itself. Especially those adorable soldiers, they will carry these firearms to the anti-Eagle battlefield and engage in an extremely brutal battle with the Allied forces led by Eagle Sauce. The environment on the peninsula is already very harsh, with temperatures dropping to -10s of degrees Celsius in winter, freezing from day to day. It was already hard enough, but if we let substandard firearms enter the battlefield again, what is the difference between them and ethnic scumbags? Then, Shen Fei checked the complete set of manufacturing drawings for the 56 submachine gun. He's really a good gun. Once equipped, this directly enhances the combat power level. Shen Fei's face showed an incredibly brilliant smile, and in battle, there must be no shortage of weapons. Otherwise, we can only use human life to fill it in. The past tragedies have passed, and the future tragedies must not happen again. This AK-47, known as the rabbit-like AK-47 in later generations, is more resistant to roughness, has a lower failure rate, good maintenance performance, higher accuracy, and has strong adaptability to various harsh environments. In addition, the Type 56 submachine gun also has fierce firepower, almost invincible at a distance of less than 200 meters, and even at 400 meters, it has the ability to kill. In terms of operational difficulty, it is very simple and friendly for soldiers with generally low educational levels. With just a few demonstrations, it is completely possible for someone who is only in elementary school or has not read a book to proficiently operate and perform precision shooting. Disassembly and assembly are both very simple, and with a little training, ordinary people can become proficient in maintenance. For the military, this is a very friendly light weapon. This is a must-have light weapon for Blue Star guerrillas to travel and stay at home. In later generations, the production of this gun directly exceeded the AK-47. Once mass-produced, it can greatly reduce costs and make it very affordable, allowing the military to purchase equipment on a large scale even with limited funds. According to Shen Fei's idea, it would be best if this weapon could become a standard submachine gun for the Rabbit Army. The current Rabbit Army with millions of soldiers is equipped with a variety of light weapons, which are completely made in all countries. There are dozens of light weapons alone, and logistic support is extremely unfavorable. The most crucial thing is that so far no standard weapon has been equipped. Even with a large number of Xiaomi rifles, there are multiple styles and bullets are not even interchangeable. Such a good gun must be put into production as soon as possible. Grandma's leg. Shen Fei was so passionate that he even wished to immediately return to his studio and devote all his energy to the development of the Type 63 automatic rifle and the Type 56 submachine gun. Bang, bang. The roar of the machine pulled Shen Fei back into reality. The first production version of the 107 rocket launcher has already been taken offline. This does not mean that there will be no problems in the future, such as in terms of quality. The top priority is to establish quality standards for weapon production as soon as possible, ensuring that every 107 rocket launcher produced is a high-quality weapon. Within the studio, Shen Fei wrote with great enthusiasm about the manufacturing standards, quality control, weapon acceptance, range testing, and final delivery to customers of the 107 rocket launcher. The entire process involves every detail. He must make production standards deeply ingrained in people's hearts. If the quality is not up to standard, it is absolutely not enough to leave the arsenal. It is better to control quality and establish standards from the beginning than to make up for the mistakes in the future. Especially now, it's just the beginning and everything is very easy to establish. After the preparation was completed, he personally found the factory director Shang Xiuming and instructed him to issue it. Other production lines can be ignored, but the 107 rocket launcher production line must be strictly followed. Okay, I support you in establishing quality standards for military weapons. This is the bottom line for us military workers. Don't worry, I fully support you. With the support of the factory director Shang Xiuming and other leaders of the military factory, the relevant quality labels were quickly issued. Under the strict requirements of high-quality standards, the 107 rocket launcher production line is extremely busy, running at full capacity and working overtime to produce. After less than 15 days of hard work, the first batch of 107 rocket launchers, consisting of 50 units, were all manufactured and adorned with red silk and large red flowers, exuding a very foreign atmosphere. Shen Fei personally watched as they were loaded onto the train and sent to the front line of Southwest Province. At this point, while Sanyi launched an attack on Guangxi Province, Iri also launched an attack on the entire Sichuan Province. Whether in Guangxi Province or Sichuan Province, the vast majority of the terrain is mountainous and unsuitable for marching and fighting, let alone for heavy artillery to function. But those enemies are quite cunning, making full use of the terrain to attack the rabbit troops. Moreover, there is also a Hu Zongnan serving as the commander. This has made the war in Sichuan Province quite difficult, and Mr. Liu has been racking his brains over this matter these days. P.S. The update has been updated. Fresh flowers are worth more than 100 yuan, and reviews are worth more than 30 yuan. Are you looking for flowers to collect? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 008, 107 Rocket Artillery Plowing, Mr. Liu and Mr. Deng. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The second field is facing the troops of Huzhongnan who are stationed in Sichuan province, which is also a very difficult team to fight against and contains the ambitious ambitions of Chiang Kai. If relying solely on the small weapons in hand, Erno would have to pay a considerable cost of casualties. In fact, the war throughout the country has been fought to this day, and there are not many remaining enemies left. It is purely a desperate resistance. Chief of Staff Li walked into the command room and approached General Liu. Mr. Liu, a batch of the latest weapons have arrived at our corps. Our superiors have ordered us to take on the equipment and make good use of this batch of new artillery. Liberate Sichuan province as soon as possible and eliminate Huzhongnan as soon as possible. Mr. Liu let out a long sigh upon hearing it. New artillery. How new can it be? Artillery is not as useful as infantry with two legs running fast in mountain warfare. Can't there be any other weapons? The Sichuan province we are attacking has many mountains and complex terrain, and cannons cannot even reach it. Ordinary guns such as grenade launchers and mortars can be used, but their power is too small to cause large-scale damage to the enemy. I can't let the heavy cannon walk on its own long legs, can I? Mr. Liu said somewhat displeased, thinking that he didn't have weighing equipment, which made him feel unhappy. Mr. Liu, I have seen this batch of cannons and they are different from the ones we have seen before. Let me tell you, there are 12 light-emitting tubes, and they are all combined together. Our own Fengtian Arsenal independently develops and produces, which is very suitable for guerrilla warfare and mountain warfare. General Li patiently explained that he needed to mobilize General Manager Liu to install this batch of artillery together, in order to demonstrate the importance that the Second Field Army attached to the new equipment. A cannon suitable for guerrilla warfare. Shouldn't it be bragging? I have never seen it before. Anyway, I'll go with you to pick up the equipment. Mr. Liu had many doubts in his heart, but in the end he agreed to go and pick up the equipment together. He has a pure mentality of treating a dead horse as a living horse doctor. He has never heard of a 12-barrel cannon, so he is naturally curious. The 107 rocket launcher is a new thing that he has never seen before, and he will not easily believe that it can adapt to mountain warfare and guerrilla warfare. 12 gun barrels stacked together, just thinking about it makes one feel that the body shape is very huge. Mr. Liu still has a great curiosity and acceptance towards new things. At the installation site, upon seeing such a strange cannon, Mr. Liu's eyes widened a few points in an instant. This was the first time he had seen such a strange cannon, it was really 12 barrels stacked together. General Li immediately introduced the basic performance parameters and operation manual. It can be fired in unison or as a single shell. The shell can be dismantled from its base, ignited and fired, or ignited with a dry battery. Easy to disassemble and assemble. After listening to various performance introductions, Mr. Liu showed a clear expression on his face. It's really a good thing. The flexible deployment of this equipment greatly improves the battlefield adaptability. Now they are engaged in mountain warfare, and this type of artillery is perfect. Only a small area of the battlefield needs to be deployed, which can provide a devastating blow to the enemy and is very suitable for the current needs of the military. Then transfer them all to the artillery regiment and let them fight me well. This batch of new weapons should give me a boost. After some contemplation, Mr. Liu made a decision, consisting of 3,107 rocket launchers, equipped with enough firepower for the artillery regiment to unleash. If logistic support keeps up, he believes he can catch the enemy off guard. A mountain stronghold in Sichuan province. The 7th Company is stationed here with the goal of eliminating the enemy on the opposite side. However, the enemy's light and heavy firepower combination is quite systematic, causing them to be defeated in all 3 rounds of attack. Captain, we have just received notification that the 3rd Battalion of the Artillery Regiment has arrived behind us and has established a position. They used modern artillery. After listening to the notice, the communications staff quickly approached the company commander and reported the situation. New style artillery. The back is full of mountains and steep slopes. How do they build their positions? Isn't this just for fun? The platoon leader didn't even think that any artillery could be deployed on steep slopes, and mortars were useless at all. At this moment, the 3 battalions are on the battlefield. Hurry up, speed up, don't make too much noise. Hurry up and assemble it. The battalion commander commanded the officers and soldiers under his command, urging them. The soldiers have spread out all the various artillery components carried on their shoulders and carried by hand on the battlefield, all of which are from the 107 rocket launcher. Their goal is to help the 7th Company eliminate the troops of the opposing regiment and completely clear the obstacles. All the components of the 107 rocket launcher are carefully designed and not heavy, even the small mountain path just now did not hinder the soldiers from advancing. This new type of artillery is really to their taste. I don't know how much better it is to use compared to bulky heavy artillery. Everyone has it, assemble the rocket launcher immediately. Start. With the command of the artillery battalion commander, the soldiers immediately began to move. Even though they received 1 or 2 training sessions, they assembled without any signs of dexterity. Because the 107 rocket launcher was originally designed to be simple and easy to assemble. In less than 10 minutes, 107 rocket launchers were assembled and presented in a combat posture. Next, correct the angle of the rocket launcher. The 107 rocket launcher was quickly adjusted and ready. Fire. The battalion commander raised his hand to look at the time on his watch and decisively issued the order to attack. In an instant, 12 107 rocket launchers ignited. Shush, shush. In the blink of an eye, rocket launchers burst out, tilting out like a flood. A 107 rocket launcher has 12 shells blasted out. 12 doors combined, that would have 144 shells. This is equivalent to 144 single-barrel guns firing in unison. The 3rd Battalion was also the first to see the explosive power of this rocket launcher. They were so shocked that their chins almost fell to the ground, and their eyes instantly widened. Oh my goodness! Is this a cannon? No, this is Nima using shells to greet the enemy's face. Firepower coverage, shell plowing. This firepower is too fierce, isn't it? Soon, their faces were filled with brilliant smiles, and nothing made them happier than that. A cannon shot out flames, dragging a long tail flame and flying towards the enemy's position. Fast as lightning, powerful as lightning. In less than a breath, the enemy's positions exploded one after another, and the huge roar of explosions quickly became one after another. It's so exhilarating. I've been an artillery soldier for so many years, and I've never been as exhilarating as I am today. P.S. Updated. With the support of data, reviews below 30 will receive more updates, flowers below 100 will receive more updates, flowers below 1000 will receive 2 updates, and comments below 10 will receive more updates. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 009, Mr. Liu and Mr. Deng sent a telegram to commend Shen. You are listening at novel full.audio. The enemy did not react and the shell had already hit the head. Boom, boom. Buong. 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 Firelight surged into the sky, smoke and gunpowder filled the air, and there were constant explosions that almost connected, like setting off firecrackers on the night of Chinese New Year's Eve, without stopping. Everywhere was a cluster of fire clouds formed by explosions, soaring into the sky. The air waves swept around, and various debris danced wildly on the enemy's position, directly overturning the cannons to the ground. The scene was extremely shocking. In the telescope. The battalion commander can see that the enemy's position has been completely covered by fierce firepower, and the entire artillery position has been blown up in disarray, scattered. There is not an inch that is not covered by artillery fire. It is basically difficult to survive in this high-density bombing. In the midst of intense explosions, the enemy artillery positions were completely annihilated. Before Hu Zhongnan could understand what was going on, the artillery regiment was directly erased. The 107 rocket launcher is not an ordinary artillery. A single salvo of firepower coverage will not give them any chance to counterattack. Even if the enemy wanted to break their heads, they could not have imagined that in such a complex terrain in the deep mountains and forests, a massive artillery regiment had emerged. It should not have been an artillery brigade. 140.4 artillery clusters were unable to achieve such an effect. The Rabbit Artillery Battalion commander put down his telescope and his face was covered in a bright smile. How unhappy is it that a battalion's firepower is even stronger than that of an ordinary artillery regiment. This is equivalent to fighting with an artillery regiment. The key is that the deployment of this rocket launcher is quite flexible, and the response is also very efficient. He was so happy that he couldn't even close his mouth. Ha ha ha, Nima, this is the artillery. Its power is too strong. With just one volley, it can completely eliminate the enemy. Enjoy yourself. If it weren't for not drinking during the war, he would really want to come to light and celebrate. Previously, he was too scared to even think about it. Who believes that one artillery battalion can take down one artillery regiment? But today, he created a miracle with his 107 rocket launcher. Not only did they destroy the enemy's artillery positions, but they also easily destroyed the logistics supply positions. Such firepower is simply not too powerful. This is the first time he has fought a battle with such abundant firepower. To be honest, it's so great. There are many mountainous areas in Sichuan province, and the enemy's use of mountainous terrain for resistance is truly despicable. In the past, large artillery was simply unable to function and naturally could not provide firepower support for combat troops, only able to grit their teeth and gnaw on bones. But the 107 rocket launcher was proven to be a powerful weapon in guerrilla warfare. It can directly increase the firepower density of the Rabbit frontline troops, provide heavy firepower to the enemy, and eliminate them when they are still confused. The artillery battalion commander quickly reported the news and praised the 107 rocket launcher as a flower. Seeing that the enemy artillery position was completely wiped out in the blink of an eye, Captain 7 was completely bewildered. Lying trough. This is simply not giving them the opportunity to make achievements. The 107 rocket launcher is a bit interesting. It's special, it's great. Blow me the charge horn, pull out the enemy for me. The enemy's artillery positions have been destroyed, so it's time for their infantry to take action. The charge horn sounded. The soldiers rushed out of the position like a tide, charging towards the enemy with a roar. With the support of 107 rocket launchers, the process of liberating Sichuan province has been greatly accelerated, unstoppable and unstoppable. The 107 rocket launcher has also been validated in battles, and its dense firepower output has made it shine brightly. Hu Zongnan's troops finally learned that they were unable to move heavy artillery into the mountains, but the Rabbit troops were able to receive a steady stream of support from 107 rocket launchers. With its skillful use, more and more of it appears on the battlefield, making the enemy unable to lift their heads. Unable to win. We can't win at all. The excellent performance of the 107 rocket launcher has been loved by soldiers. An artillery regiment equipped with 107 rocket launchers. After the war, the Chief of Staff immediately picked up the phone and rang Mr. Liu to report the situation on the front line. Mr. Liu, our attack went very smoothly. We have successfully captured Jiaojialing and opened the door to Sichuan and Chongqing. Next, we will liberate Rongcheng. In the past, in mountain warfare, we didn't have heavy firepower, but now we have 107 rocket launchers. Basically, only one firepower output is needed to level the enemy's position. 3107 is really too few, Mr. Liu. Could you please ask for it from above? I believe that more 107 will definitely provide us with stronger firepower support. We can sweep across all the way. After listening to the battle report, Mr. Liu couldn't help but exclaim that the 107 rocket launcher was really powerful, providing the troops with great firepower support. Fearless of any terrain, once dismantled, people can leave, and once assembled, they can fight. The mountain only needs to dig out a small flat surface to unleash its combat effectiveness. If it's not enough, it's better to dismantle the base and dry the battery to ignite the attack. The accuracy is a bit poor, but it does not affect the elimination of enemies. Okay, I got it. The 107 rocket launcher is really small and powerful. The person who designed it is a military genius. The Fengtian Arsenal really provides strong firepower support for our frontline troops. Mr. Liu was generous in his praise, and now he finally understands that the 107 rocket launcher is definitely a powerful weapon and an indispensable artillery in the army. Boss, this rocket launcher is not only easy to disassemble, but also easy to assemble. We can shoot wherever we go and fight with the army without any problem. Often it can make the enemy unable to lift their heads, and a battle ends. Boss, make sure to order more 107 rocket launchers, more is better. The Chief of Staff finally reminded Mr. Liu again that good weapons must be equipped as much as possible for the troops. As a frontline commander, he is too aware of the importance of weapons. The 107 rocket launcher played a magical role in the Sichuan Provincial Liberation War, naturally allowing the troops such as the 4th Field Army to understand the situation. They are now eagerly watching, all eager to equip themselves with 107 rocket launchers. For a moment, the 107 rocket launcher became a coveted item among various troops. The "thank that you" letter also drifted from all directions like snowflakes towards the military headquarters and towards the Fengtian Arsenal. 3 Eastern Provinces, Military Branch. This department manages all the military factories and related supporting research institutes in the 3 Eastern Provinces. The Minister of Logistics of the military department personally came here to summon a young man. This has never appeared before. P.S. The update has been updated. Please add 30 evaluation votes for the update, and add flowers for the update in the evening. If there is a difference of 30 evaluation votes, please add 30 evaluation votes for the update. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 010 and 63 automatic rifles, awarded the Order of Shen Fei. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. A spacious and bright reception hall. Logistics Minister Sun Yonghua and Political Commissar Zhou Qinlei arrived here early and sat quietly waiting, dressed in appropriate suits, making them look very formal. Suddenly, a brilliant smile appeared on both of their faces, and their eyes were fixed on the open door. Slowly stood up from the chair. At this moment, a young man slowly walked in. He's none other than Shen Fei. The 107 rocket launcher developed by Shen Fei has been officially launched on the battlefield and has shone brightly, causing various units below to envy and compete. The phone number requesting installation has been reached at the military headquarters. The 2 giants in charge of logistics naturally noticed. Mr. Liu from Erno personally sent a commendation telegram to the military headquarters, and they also brought it along. Comrade Shen Fei, it's amazing. Your name is like thunder in my ears, and I am truly a hero born in youth. The 107 rocket launcher you developed has made countless contributions on the front line, and now it has become a good equipment that all units are competing for. It's amazing. Sun Yonghua walked quickly to the middle of the reception hall, tightly holding Shen Fei's hand and exclaiming excitedly, his eyes full of admiration. After the Minister of Logistics left, Zhou Qinlei tightly held Shen Fei's hand and praised him. I am very happy today that the 107 rocket launcher has played a very important role in the operations in Sichuan province, greatly reducing the casualties of frontline soldiers. Mr. Liu from Erno personally sent a commendation telegram, naming and praising you. You are a great hero. At such a young age, it's terrifying for the younger generation. The two big shots took turns praising one person, which has never been the case since the founding of the Rabbit Kingdom. Minister, political commissar, it's too much praise, too much praise. As a military worker, these are all things I should do, and I hope to contribute to our national defense. Dignity is only above the blade of the sword, truth is only within the range of the cannon. I need to work harder. Shen Fei quickly and humbly responded that he didn't want to take pride in producing the 107 rocket launcher. What a good sentence. Dignity is only above the blade of a sword, truth is only within the range of a cannon. Good young man, I did not misread you. With a passionate young military worker like you, I believe our national defense industry will definitely be in full swing and take it to the next level. Upon hearing this, Sun Yonghua looked even higher at Shen Fei. This young man is amazing. As a military worker, being able to have such a profound experience is a great blessing for the rabbit country, and the rabbit will definitely become stronger and stronger. Okay, Comrade Shen Fei's words were thorough and showed me hope. Minister, we have comrades like Shen Fei, why worry about the prosperity and development of the national defense industry? Zhou Qinglei appeared extremely excited, patting Shen Fei's shoulder with his broad palm, looking worthy of trust. Old Zhou, let's issue the reward for Comrade Shen Fei. Sun Yonghua smiled and reminded that such a young person must be named by the military headquarters. Right, I'm just talking. Comrade Shen Fei, after careful consideration and research by the military, and considering your significant contributions in the development of the 107 rocket launcher, we hereby award you a commendation order and award you the first-class Medal of Honor. I hope you can make greater contributions in the future. Zhou Qinglei personally presented medals, certificates, and appointment certificates to Shen Fei. Thank you very much for organizing and cultivating. Thank you to the political commissar and minister. Shen Fei collected all the rewards and put them aside directly. After a brief award ceremony, Sun Yonghua and Zhou Qinglei sat down with Shen Fei and started chatting together. Shen Fei, what is your opinion on the future development of our weapons? Can you share it? Sun Yonghua's topic gradually shifted to military construction, and he wanted to see what kind of bold ideas Shen Fei could have. Minister, don't mention it, I really have this kind of idea. We have already established the country, but the standard firearms used by the troops are diverse, which has caused great difficulties in logistics support. If we can unify the gun system, we can greatly improve the combat effectiveness of the troops. Shen Fei didn't hide anything, watching the two military leaders speak frankly. Anyway, what he said was also a real problem. Once the rabbits have established their country, it is time for the troops to have unified standard firearms and ammunition. We have been in battle before and have no conditions to unify standard weapons. Although the country has just been established and the industrial foundation is still weak, it must also be considered. We can't arm our forces by purchasing weapons from other countries, can we? After careful consideration, the military headquarters is also working to address the issue of standard weapons. Sun Yonghua and Zhou Qinglei came with the intention of listening to the opinions of the military factory. After all, the final production still needs to be implemented by the military factory. Upon hearing Shen Fei's words, Sun Yonghua and Zhou Qinglei exchanged a glance and immediately understood that the young man had some thoughts. Comrade Shen Fei, do you have any ideas? Let's talk about it. Sun Yonghua stared at Shen Fei with fiery eyes and eagerly signaled. The successful development of the 107 rocket launcher made it clear to them that Shen Fei was an extremely talented and potential military researcher. Minister, this is an automatic rifle I designed. Take a look. Shen Fei took out the design drawings of the Type 63 automatic rifle from his handbag and handed them to the two experts. Upon seeing the relevant drawings, both experts showed surprised expressions. They never expected that Shen Fei could even develop an automatic rifle, which was amazing. After looking at each other, the two immediately spread out the drawings and carefully studied them. Minister, Political Commissar, this is an automatic rifle that I have developed according to the needs of the military. It draws on its strengths, with its upper body resembling an SKS semi-automatic rifle and its lower body modeled after the Bear's AK. It possesses the precision of an SKS semi-automatic rifle and the magazine capacity of an AK-47. It is also a firearm suitable for individual assassination, with a stock design that greatly enhances stability. Completely achieved the integration of step and charge. Shen Fei talked confidently and explained the various performance of the Type 63 automatic rifle. Sun Yonghua and Zhou Qinglei, two military leaders, have also seen the AK-47 automatic rifle. Its powerful firepower and adaptability to the environment are very impressive. Only when shooting, the accuracy is somewhat lacking. Unexpectedly, Shen Fei came up with an even better automatic rifle than it. This is amazing. Once equipped with a unit, it will definitely become the first standard gun of the Rabbit Army, which has a great promoting effect on the equipment of the unified army. And just because it is designed doesn't mean it can be manufactured. After all, from design to manufacturing, it also requires a process, and the level of difficulty involved can be imagined. P.S. The flowers have reached the limit, and if the rating exceeds 30, continue to receive a worse rating of 30. Please collect the flowers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.